What?
Of knowing.
Knowing yourself is a need, because otherwise one is in samsara. You know that. Knowing a little more. Part B.
Oh.
Yeah, like Medicare, the Satsang answer comes in 2 parts. Part A and Part B. So, Part B, that you have an option to not know yourself. But really, what kind of an option is it? It's an optionless option. It's an optionless option. Because if you don't know yourself, whatever you know is useless, really. Because you're not able to negotiate all this. You're not able to negotiate. You get overwhelmed, you get tired, you get wired. One is wired, one is tired. And finally, the upadhi is expired. That's all it is. This is the whole thing. And then since that problem because of which the body had to be taken is not resolved, then one takes on another body, another body, another body. So this way one is forever in samsara. Instead of, knowing the forever, one is in the forever samsara. That's what it is. So therefore, if I know myself, then that I'm not a wanting, longing person, that my nature is that of a complete, whole and compassionate being is understood, so that there is nothing more to do, nothing more to accomplish, nothing more to gain. Yeah.
If the habitual orientations are so strong, I've heard you say before that you're all for therapy and all kinds of means to get rid of the habitual orientations.
Yes. Habitual orientations, you can keep repeating. I am pure, I am of the nature of Bhagavan. Bhagavan and I are one. I am what I seek. I am uninvolved in the body, mind, sense complex. I am Sakshi, observer. This way you can help yourself. Yeah.
Like affirmations.
Affirmations. Affirmation based on the Vedic statements of what you know and what you have understood and internalized. Yeah.
I was wondering, so then our knowledge and ignorance, are they Adam as well?
Sorry? Didn't get you.
Oh yes, so knowledge and ignorance, they're Adam?
Idam.
Yeah.
Knowledge is Idam. Knowledge, knowledge of the finite, definitely Idam. Knowledge of I as Satchidananda, that is Aham, because that's not separate from Aham. But it is interesting because it is given in the form of Idam, but since it is also Aham, it is received as Aham. You see what I'm saying? It is given in the form of a vritti. So fantastic. Yeah, good question. This one doesn't have a part B. Yeah. Other questions?
I was curious about the crow and the peacock metaphor that you brought up.
You enacted that at one of the Thanksgiving retreats. The girls enacted it.
Oh, yes.
Do you remember?
I do. You're correct.
Yeah. The Lydia, Amrita, and Penelope. Yeah.
Oh.
Penelope.
Remind me of the metaphor.
Yeah. So that is what they enacted, this whole thing. The crow going into the peacock dance. It was very nice. What do you want?
I'm just curious as to, when I heard it again, I was wondering if it is more as it sounds, the crow is putting on the peacock feathers and stretching around and trying to be victory as peacock.
Yeah.
Is the point more to be as crow as oneself?
Oh, no. It's not about the crow or the peacock. It is to illustrate that every upadhi, which has an identity, see, it's how to talk about this even. Let me think how it will make sense. Because if I were to say what I was going to say, I'm just repeating the same thing. So let me try to think about how to tell you. The crow is Satchidananda, let us say. It is taken on the upadhi of a peacock. Correct? It's not like I should also be like the crow. That's not the point. It has taken on the identity of the peacock with the help of some feathers and some coloring and everything. It has painted itself, and then it has put on some colors, put on some stilts, high heels, whatever it is, and has trotted into this, strutting around in this peacock convention. Correct? So when the bluff is called, how? Not by the feathers falling off, but by the scales of ignorance falling off from the eyes. There is nothing to do. You don't have to pluck off the feathers. Oh, you don't belong. I want to be pure Satchidananda. No. Cognitively you transcend. Remember touchwood. Just like touchwood, cognitively you transcend the upadhi, because I know I am Satchidananda. Let me be limitless enough to have a few limitations. Yeah, that is the mantra.
But in the crow has a pressure to put on the peacock.
The example doesn't go that far. Yeah, the example doesn't go that far. Yeah, we should just stick to the kernel of the example. The crow has takes on an upadhi. Why, etc.? No, don't worry about why. We just embellish the story just to make it fun. Yeah, the story has many avatars. Each time it comes out slightly differently. That's just for fun. You see, the teaching methodology is such. How it operates. The whole teaching is just methodology, because we are not really giving anything new. You are already crow. No, Satchidananda. I don't have to embellish this. I'm not giving the knowledge. You are already what you seek to be. And so the teaching tradition, which has been gained from the lineage of teachers, is just unraveling the ignorance. That's all it is. The ignorance is tightly knitted. Knit, pearl, it's all knitted. And it's just unraveled. That's all it is. And with each person who is listening, you have to find the right string. Because sometimes if you pull the wrong string, it tightens. And if you pull the right string, it unravels. That's the gift of the methodology. It's all methodology. And so how the story is told, when the story is told, why the story is told, and why in a similar situation that story is not told, another story is told, is part of this methodology. It's a deliberate way to make the people, the people means the various upadhis in the room, let go of the defenses. That's why we embellish the stories, we embellish the teaching. It is design. I learnt it from my teacher, that's all I can say. And that's all it is. So you design it in such a way that the person is able to, is able to be, what's the word for it, the resistances, the fears, the worries, the anxieties, whatever are there, they have a chance to relax. So the person is able to absorb what is being talked about. So don't go with all the small parts of whether the crow was pressured and, yeah.
So these trust issues that the parties have, the fear and resistance, trust issues, is that common to all jivas?
Yes, thankfully. Every jiva. This is our bread and butter. We grow together. That's why Satsang. We take heart in the fact that everyone comes with the capital of ignorance.
And trusting.
Because the grandchild of ignorance is distrust, mistrust, fear. It's all because of this self-ignorance. So since everyone's capital is ignorance, I have to know myself. Why is it called capital? Because if I don't know myself, if I don't lose it, I will be decapitated. Yeah, I'm as good as decapitated because I have no sanity. Vedanta makes one a sane person, being able to absorb and engage with the realities of life as they are, not how I want it to be. That's how we started this whole retreat. It'll come to that. We'll come back to that. So, This is the beauty of the knowledge. It's very precious. It doesn't negate anything. It doesn't negate anything that one does in one's life. It accommodates them and transcends them also. It doesn't negate other ways to center oneself, because only a centered person can listen to this teaching. It doesn't negate other ways of other lifestyles. Nothing it negates. It doesn't negate forms of prayer. It doesn't negate religions. It doesn't negate even all the so-called Purva Paksha arguments. It doesn't negate them. What it does, it establishes what it is. In the process, they get negated. Because, in fact, everything is okay. Because every point of view is valid. Is it not? It's valid. Because, if you go under this table, right? Like a car mechanic, you get one of those little things, those fun things. What are they called? Yeah. That they lie their backs on and go. So you go under this table and then you describe what you see. Nobody will think you're describing a table, correct? Yeah. But you're being true to yourself. You're describing what you see. It has some holes and some screws and some nuts and bolts and, and something there. Oh, and a serial number. Okay, let me try to read that. That's what you're doing. So therefore, that is a point of view, right? Yeah, it is valid. Just like the 5 people, the sightless people feeling the elephant, they were all valid. They were all valid. Not a single one was telling lies. Each one was telling the truth. But they are all points of view. But we cannot, part B, we cannot mistake the point of view for the view. Vedanta is the view that does not negate any point of view, accommodates all points of view. But we cannot mistake the part for the whole. That's what it is. It is the knowledge of the whole.
And how to embrace idam? Try transcending the name and form.
Yeah.
In not negating and accommodating.
Yeah.
But how to embrace? What is that? Our hearts. Is that I find it difficult sometimes to embrace.
Yeah, certain things should not be embraced. Yeah, from far you say namaha, like alligator, etc. You don't literally go embrace. Certain things you don't embrace. But what I understand the spirit of your question, the embracing is a process of growth. Along with the growing clarity, you will find in yourself an infinite capacity to embrace more and more and more, to not negate anything, to allow things to be. And that is what is the fruit of this self-knowledge, which is compassion. Compassion cannot be made to order. Like in the menu, you go and say, I want this kind of burrito, I want this fixing, I don't want that, I want this. Made to order. Compassion cannot be made to order. It has to be cultivated. The best way to cultivate it is through losing the self-ignorance. It is absolute compassion is a result of absolute loss of self-ignorance, by knowing the absolute as oneself. But in the moment, we can help ourselves to temporary, a relative compassion. Battery-operated compassion. Runs out but can be recharged. How to do that? No other way but by acting compassionately. It's easy to act compassionately when you're looking at this small little housefly struggling in the water and giving it a leaf and thinking, I'm God in relation to this, I have Aishwaryam. It's hard to be compassionate when what you have rescued turns out to be tsetse fly and then goes on to bite you and then, and then lands you in the hospital. It's hard to be compassionate. But You can only cultivate compassion. It's not even cultivate. Cultivate is within quotes because your nature is already compassionate. So really, what cultivation are you doing? You're just acting in accordance to your nature, especially when it is very hard. It's like going to the gym. You know, in the beginning, all these things, treadmill and there's some machine and the steps and all these things, so many things are there. And one ball will be there and so many things will be there. Weights will be there. And seeing all of them, you feel like running away to the cafe next door and having something buttery. You know? Just seeing the equipment. Yeah, you don't feel like even hanging out. But you have signed up and that trainer catches you. So you have no option. And the trainer said, come on, get on this machine. No, get on this machine. No, it looks dangerous. No, get on this machine now. I'm just making this up. So, that's how it is? Not bad.
Not that bad.
This is an ideal, typical situation. Get on that machine now. The trainer catches because that's why for any gym membership, you have to pay in advance. Otherwise, it will not happen. So because you've given the money, you have to go and hang out there. And this trainer says, you know, what is the problem? You come here, you sit on this machine, ties you up to the machine. You have no other option but to pedal, you know.
And in January, you can't find a machine because everybody's doing their New Year's resolution.
That's right.
They go back.
That's when it is. January 5th you go. By that time you'll find a machine. First 3 days of January don't go. Yeah. After the first week it will be safe. So you see, so in the beginning you're scared of the equipment, then somehow with great difficulty you find that you have, you have got on to the equipment and not been displaced by the law of gravity. That itself is a great thing. And then you start pedaling. And then next, the very same day, if you go home and look, where are the muscles? Nothing will be there. But little by little, the endurance develops. Little by little, you are able to stay on longer. Little by little, you are less scared. And then you can show off the six-pack. Shama, Tama, Oparati, Titiksha, Shraddha, Samadhanam. You can show it all off. Takes time, but you have to randomly and recklessly act compassionately whenever there is a chance. And whenever there is no chance, also make it a chance to act, recklessly compassionate. So what happens is that all the resistances that were holding the compassionate heart in place slowly loosen, like shoelaces, slowly loosen. And the compassion emerges. So that's why you have to deliberately act compassionately until it comes naturally to you.
That is so beautiful.
Yeah, that is all Bhagavan, that is Swamiji. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Nothing is me. You had one more part C you had.
No, I think I already said. It was just transcendence and embracing.
Yeah, that's how you embrace.
Not negating only, but
Yeah, you grow to embrace. First, the hardest thing is to embrace all the resistances within oneself. Once you do that, you become an expert embracer. You can embrace anything. You brace yourself first and then you embrace. That's why the word is like that. What else? Anything else? Any questions online? Live stream walas. Live stream walas and live stream walis, I suppose. Both.
Ramakrishna, Gita, Dottie. There's more people, but they're just not saying who they are.
Okay, that's all right. All right. So now we will have some lunch, and then the next class is at 4:30, correct? Yeah. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om. Can she manage all alone? All the food? It'll probably help her to load up